Hey guys, welcome back to She Writes. I wanted to post a review about this book because when I read it, I was so surprised by how great it was that I really wanted to share it with a lot of other people, and I noticed there wasn't any other reviews on BookTube for it, so I just thought I would use my tiny little platform to help spread the word for this really great read. So I was drawn to the book because of the cover initially. It was on the front table. Generally, you can't go wrong by picking up a book on the front table when it's just coming out, because it just means that a lot of people read it probably, and a lot of people enjoyed it. Thank me later. So the book is actually set in the 1980s in a small coal mining town in Kentucky, and the main character, the narrator, is a 14-year-old boy named Kevin. It's kind of this coming-of-age tale, and Kevin is coming on the tail end of this very traumatic event where his younger brother was killed tragically in some sort of a freak accident. You don't really know what exactly happened to his brother. He was involved in the accident and sort of takes responsibility for what happened to him. So the nucleus of Kevin's family is breaking apart. His father has a law practice back where they're from, so he stays. Kevin and his mother move in with his grandfather. He also kind of at the same time loses his mother because she's mourning the loss of her youngest son, so she kind of goes inside of herself and becomes very vacant. He doesn't really know if or when he'll ever see his mother like he knew her again. The next character that kind of comes into view in Kevin's life is his grandfather, Pops. And his grandfather is this brilliant character, well-read, southern gentleman, Atticus Finch type character in this book, and I love him. You're able to see the events of this summer in 1980 through the eyes of this 14-year-old boy. So there's a lot that you can learn from him because he's an outsider. He's coming into this small southern town that's seeped in religion and politics and poverty, but you're seeing it from a more pure place. So one of the first people that Kevin meets is another boy by the name of Buzzy Fink, and I love that name. But he's kind of this really fun outlier of a kid. Their lives cross and they're forever tethered because of the events that take place. It's just a classic tale of two boys coming of age together that end up in really interesting situations. So that's just one of the many dynamics in this book that makes it so interesting, because it brings all these really relevant hot button issues woven into the tapestry of this beautiful classic. It's one of the most enjoyable parts of the book, I feel like. So the book is beautifully written. For a debut writer on his first novel, I was blown away by what I read. Sometimes you have to accept one or the other. You have to accept good writing and a great plot and a great book. But very rarely do you get both, and I felt like with this book you got both. It's great. I love Southern literature, and I'm always looking out for new contemporary Southern writers. I don't know if you guys have read any of Ron Rash's books, but they're fantastic. There's a beauty and a richness to the culture that some writers do a better job than others of capturing, but Christopher did a great job because I really feel like this is an important book and that a lot of you are really going to enjoy it. It's kind of one of those go-to books I feel like that you would want to just crawl up under a blanket on a rainy day or by a fire. There's a level of familiarity to it that makes it really enjoyable. Because it touches on some environmental issues like mountaintop coal mining, it's one of the issues that he kind of hits head on, is what we're doing to our environment and what kind of world are we leaving to our children. And that's another great part of the book where you are actually kind of engrossed in the physical environment that he paints so beautifully. And you really feel connected to that part of the world. And Pops does a great job of kind of being that voice of reason and wisdom throughout the book. One of the reoccurring events is that Kevin and his grandfather go out on the porch at the end of every evening, and then some of the men from town mosey up on this porch and they talk about the heavy issues of the day. It's almost like you take that sigh of relief when you get to the porch. Pops, please tell me what's happening. The interesting part about Christopher Scotton, not only is he a first-time writer, is how long it actually took him to write this book. I read that he started somewhere in his early 30s, and then he took like 10 years off, then came back to it. As you know from other videos that I've posted on this channel, I always find it interesting, the motivations for writers. I would love to have done a Q&A with Christopher. I didn't reach out to his publisher. If he ends up watching this, I would love to have like a follow-up video to this with some questions, because I think it's really fascinating. It's a really audacious book. This book is fantastic. I can't recommend it more. I'm so excited that I found this new writer, and I can't wait to read what Christopher comes out with next. I would love to hear from you guys. If you also read the book and you stumbled upon this review after the fact, I'd love to know what you think. Or if you decided to buy the book because of this review, I'd love to know that too. So let me know, and I'll see you guys soon.